Flow is a
Thank you.
spiritual, no, thank you. Tatiana Flow I'm going to read this, is a spiritual mentor who employs a combination of energy techniques to connect people to the source within, to live an abundant material life, abundant in health, wealth, love, and freedom, to create and recreate one's life. Boy, that's beautiful. Now, how did you find that source?
Well, it's always with you, and some people are more connected to it than others. That's the difference. And this source, you can call it many names, but basically it's your gut, it's your intuition that you really learn to listen. And since your audience is mostly business people, I can tell you that most of very successful entrepreneurs are very connected to the source. Intuition and vision, some strong vision on what he wants to create, or any entrepreneur wants to create, and going for it. And if it doesn't exist yet, or it's difficult to imagine it's possible to do, there are people that are crazy enough to believe in their intuition, in their guts, and go for that dream. So it's actually a very much business quality, being connected to the source, to yourself.
And what led you to that awareness?
So for a long time, I was in business and finance for 15 years, and I was leading finance training for finance professionals, Wall Street professionals. I was in real estate in one of the most luxurious places in the world, the Hamptons, New York. And just in 3 years after getting to the US, I moved to the US 10 years ago to get my MBA degree in Cambridge. And in 3 years, I already built my American dream. I had a house in the Hamptons, I had cars, I had a family, my husband, my ex-husband, and everything looked really good on the paper. But at some point, I realized something is missing. And that missing point was basically living someone else's dreams, what other people define as success. And while I was busy building my American dream, I was busy doing that, creating that life for myself. And when it was there, I was just living it, there was still some emptiness inside. So I went to look for it, and I found it at the end. And I realized that it's very important to create something that you define as success, make you happy. And this life is too short. So
let me ask you a question about that. Were you walking on the Hamptons in the beach and an epiphany arose from the wave? Or, I mean, you must have had something traumatic happen to cause you to say, I need to do something else. I need to get out of this space where I was.
Well, it still was a beautiful place and a beautiful path that I created for myself. And I really appreciate everything, any experience in my life. But again, at some point, I was always doing practices. I was always doing lots of internal work, because it always takes an internal switch to make an external change for yourself. And I've done a very large, path for myself, from a very poor USSR family to the American dream. But at some point, yes, what happened, I was called to do ayahuasca. Many people know what it is nowadays. And that showed me something I didn't see even with all my practices. And I realized that I'm not living my own life at the moment. So I started to search, and I started to dig and search for answers. I was very dedicated 24/7 for my spiritual path. I was going to Tibet. I was doing so many, even more different practices. And at the end of the day, I found it. I found that source, and I lived through what's called oneness, when you become one with the whole world. and realize that you are a creator of your life. And you always knew that. You always knew that. But you just forget. Sometimes you forget. And from that place, I live only through my intuition, through my feelings, and trusting it completely, more than my mind. Because mind is wired to create fears and precondition us. And any true abundance happens beyond any line of mind limitations. And it happens in a space free of fears and full of love.
Thank you very much for doing that, and congratulations on that. May I ask you a couple of questions about living in Soviet Union? You were in Moldova, right? And that's near Ukraine, isn't it?
I was born in Moldova, yes, and in blood I'm half Russian, half Ukrainian, correct.
Yeah.
And I grew up in Russia when USSR was falling apart. My parents moved to Russia, so I moved with them. I was a kid.
Yeah. Okay. So was it easy to leave Russia? Leave the Soviet Union, expat yourself?
Well, it wasn't an easy time. It was the 1990s when USSR was falling apart and the country was in a terrible condition. It was very dangerous to live there. And I remember we didn't have actual money. There was like tickets that you would take and exchange for some goods, for some ham and cheese and bread in the stores that basically were half empty, and you stay in a large. I remember as a kid I was doing it. My parents would send me to the store. I would stay in the line to get some bread for hours. So I remember those times, and I actually really appreciate these times because through my path I learned so much, so many different perspectives on a subject of money, because I lived through times when they didn't even exist, and the government believed that it's possible to make everyone even. And I believe that it's the beauty of this world that everyone is different, and everyone has different potential and does different things. And money is there for us to serve us as a mediator between people to exchange services, goods, and so on and so forth. And I see it more as energy now, even though I have a finance background, 15 years on Wall Street, I still believe everything is energy, including money. So that's one of my many revelations on my path.
Oh, this is really interesting. Okay, so what are you doing like tomorrow? It's already evening where you are, or approaching evening, late in the day. So what are you doing tomorrow to be self-actuating this new spirit? Are you painting? Are you taking pictures of the beautiful area? Are you around Cannes or Nice?
I am in Cannes. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm in Cannes, but basically I'm all over the place. It's Cannes Film Festival right now here.
Yeah.
I was on the red carpet the other day, watching an amazing premiere. It's really buzzing here. On Friday, I'm going to the yacht show to see Formula One in Monaco. So it's beautiful. It's a beautiful time to be here. And at the same time, tomorrow, I'm actually working. I have a client for my session, and that's something that makes me feel alive even more, because I make people, my clients, alive. They remember the truth about life, and they remember how to live without suffering. So that's something I do. I love it with my whole being, and I'm looking forward to tomorrow's sessions.
So did you in the film festival? Did you see the film with by Martin Scorsese and Robert De Niro?
No, it was a different movie I watched. It's a Korean movie, but I've heard that it's one of the best movies because very often it's It's not that entertaining, those movies that show in Cannes Festival. Some are better, some are worse. But the movie I watched was very interesting, Korean.
Yeah. And did it have subtitles?
Yes, they did. They had both French and English subtitles.
Yeah. Okay. So are you fluent in French?
I'm fluent in English and French now. Just it's
Yeah.
my second season here.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not either, but je know, I don't even know the words, but no. Okay. So tell me, did you see the movie Raiders of the Lost Ark, the new one?
Not yet. Did
No.
you?
Okay. Okay. It was shown at the film festival the other day. I just
There
get
are so many movies right now showing.
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay, good. So on the red carpet, wow, was that during the day or at night?
It was at night. It was a night movie after the midnight, and it was beautiful, beautiful experience.
I bet. Yeah, wow. Okay, so when you go to Monaco to look at Formula One, what's your favorite viewing spot?
Well, that's going to be from the yacht. I have a friend, and we finished MBA degree with her in Cambridge, back in Cambridge 10 years ago. And now she has a yacht business in Monaco and in Dubai. So I have great connections
Yeah,
to
I bet. That's
one from
great.
the best spot.
Good for you. Good for you. Okay, well, I have a friend, actually a client, Christine Morley is her name. She's a world-renowned speaker,
Mhm.
and she was awarded the CSP, certified speaker, in France, one of the only women. I think she was the first woman to be. Anyway, she lives in Monaco now, somewhere up on that hill. I don't know where. I haven't been with her there, but she spoke at my live events in Paris and in Switzerland. And we were going to do a live event in Monaco, but COVID came and just
Oh,
stopped.
yeah.
Maybe again, I don't know.
Mhm.
Anyway, this is really interesting. I'd like to learn more about how you transitioned from uh, the living in Soviet Union area into Wall Street.
Well, when we moved to Russia, my parents and I, as a kid, I grew up in a small town there, and then I always felt I don't belong there. So I moved to St. Petersburg, then to Moscow, and at some point I went to the US to get my MBA degree. While living in Russia, though, I was in banking for almost 8 years, starting from a very, just a specialist in the bank branch, and going into managing 900 branches around bank branches around Russia. But still, at some point, there was more, in my career. I guess I could become a CEO or anything I wanted at the moment, but I really wanted to have an experience and education abroad. So I chose to move to the US for MBA degree, stayed there, and after I finished my MBA degree, I joined the company that's called Training the Wall Street. And I started to provide finance training with them for the largest global companies in the world: Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, BCG, McKinsey, and so on and so forth. I was
So
sitting at
what kind of trading?
It's financial
Modeling, and that means how to go public or how to.
go public, how to evaluate the company during mergers and acquisitions, how to evaluate the company to sell it, and so on and so forth. Yes.
Yeah, interesting. Okay, and then you transitioned into residential real estate.
Well, I kind of did it at the same time. My ex-husband was in residential real estate in the Hamptons, New York, and he well, basically together with me, he grew into a real superstar there. He was already doing very well when I met him, and even better over the time of our marriage. And I was helping him in his business as well, meeting with some clients, meeting with some architects, some interior designers, and so on and so forth.
Yeah. Well, cool. That's very cool. Okay, so how long will you be in south of France?
I'm here till the end of September, and then probably going back to Miami. So I'm in between.
Yeah, okay. So are you in Brickell area?
I'm in South Beach on West Avenue.
Yeah, okay. It's been a few years since I've been there, but I know the general area. Well, I'm really happy to have you on the show. And once again, you believe, I'm going to read this. You believe that there is infinite abundance in the universe, and you just need to feel it to remember, and then ground it to live it in daily life. Okay, so you have this feeling or this knowledge, which is a feeling, right? And yet it's over there. And so how do you bring it in here? Well, I mean, you have to be intentional.
Absolutely. First of all, you need to be intentional. And of course, you need to, in a way, be able to go and feel that deeply. And that's what I do during my sessions. I bring people to an altered state of mind where pineal gland of your brain is activated and DMT is released. And many like medicine, like ayahuasca, for example, does something similar. I do the same without taking any psychedelics or any substances. I just, through channeling the energy, I bring people into that state of altered mind where they remember that there is infinite abundance in this universe. And they remember that they can create anything they want in life. And whatever is stopping them is just limiting beliefs. And it's during that energy work, there are new neuron connections in the brain that are built. And what I mean by that, for example, some conditions can look like if or since that person or somebody like, I don't know, my ex-boyfriend was lying to me, I think now everyone is a liar. And that's what I attract in life all the time. And during that work, you remember like new neuron connections are built. So you remember, oh, there are people that are liars, there are people that are honest, and your habits, your reactions literally change because this neuron connection that was so strong and defined your behavior in life, your actions and reactions changes. So your actions and reactions in real life change, and that creates new reality. That's how it works.
So how can people reach you? How can they find you?
I have a website, TatianaFlow.com. Everything is available there. I have the next available event on June 3rd and 4th. It's next weekend already, where we'll do a group energy event online. Plus, I do private sessions, and my contacts are there on the website. It's very easy to reach me, and I'm very responsive as well. So
great.